So today I want to be going over my 1 year goals that I made. So I made this I think second day of January this year. So I want to be going over my 2025 goals if I hit them, and in this time frame with the rest of the month if I'm going to hit them. So I made a video yesterday about if I think I'm going to hit my 10K a month goal. That's a big one that you're going to see here. I truly do think I am. I talked in my video how we got a $1,600 sale. I'll show you guys on my whiteboard. I'm tracking this, right? 10K before December 31st. December 3rd, we got $1,600. So I'm going to be going over my goals here. So first year goal right here is have a 10K a month before the first day of 2026. So have I hit this? So far, I have not. I've had a month where, I had $6,600, but that was just one deal and we didn't end up going through with it. The guy ended up refunding and it just wasn't a very good situation at all. Other than that, my months have been like less than $500 a month that I've made. Some months zero. All in all, I'm investing a lot of money into this. But the reason behind this goal right here, the reason behind the have 10K a month goal, that's just revenue. Like I don't care to make 10K profit. And I say this a lot and I talk about this a lot. I don't care about profit as of right now. I care about revenue. Why do I care about revenue? Because then I know that I have a system in place. I know that I have some sort of just system in place, right? Skill set in place that can help, that can get me to 10K a month. Because once I get to 10K a month, that's not a problem, but getting to profit, that's a good goal to have. But it all comes with obviously getting that first 10K a month. Now, the closest that I've been to hitting that was back in July. And the second closest I've been is this month right here. As I'm recording this, it is December 4th. So I have, 26 more days, 27 more days to hit 10K a month. We're going to be launching a new campaign on Sunday, with the help of our mentorship that I got, $7,500 for 3 months. Pretty steep considering, I'm only getting money from my job and I'm having thousands of dollars on ad spend a month on top of that. So it's a very big leap, but with the knowledge and with the insight that they gave us, we're going to be launching. And I truly believe that we're going to be getting more deals in that time frame. Now, I know it's going to slow down for holidays. I've never been through a holiday season. I know that it slows down, but it's not like it goes to zero. And if we can just get 1 or 2 deals, we will hit that goal. And I truly do believe that we're going to hit that. So for the first goal here, right, for my first goal, have a 10K month before the first day of 2026, we're going to say a maybe. So that is number 1. Number 2 is quitting my job before May 22nd. Now, I'm going to explain this goal a little bit. So the beginning of the year I started a job in a town over with my power engineering ticket. I explained this. I work a 60-hour work week sometimes as a power engineer, shift work, really dirty blue collar redneck work. But I started a job in a town over in November. The job I work now, it's in my hometown. It's where I ultimately wanted to work, but they didn't have any positions at that time I was done. And so I ended up just applying everywhere. I got that job in that town. Now, that job was not the best. Now, I had never moved away from home, and that town I was in, it was better than my small town, but not lively at all. And furthermore, and I'm going to make a video on this of just, how I function as an entrepreneur living in Northern Canada, right above the 55th parallel. It's pretty north if you guys, aren't familiar with maps like that. But I started it from November until the middle of February. Now, if you guys don't know Canadian winters, especially Northern Canadian winters, Toronto doesn't count, especially Northern Canadian winters, from November to February, you are having, 8 hours of daylight a day. You're having 16 hours of daylight or of nighttime a day. And when you work 7 to 7 at a shift job, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., you don't see light once. You don't see light at all, except for when you're working. And where I was working, I was in the control room. I never went outside, right? So I wouldn't see the sun for days on end. And then Furthermore, when you're on night shift, which is terrible for you, like absolutely horrendous, right? Book Why We Sleep, Matthew Walker talks about, very good book on sleep, one of the best books on sleep there is. But in addition to night shift being terrible for you, you are sleeping through the day and you're waking up and it's dark. You're going to bed when it's dark. You're waking up when it's dark. It is a terrible feeling. I dreaded every single day there. Now, I got kind of used to it. And they had a really nice sports facility there that I made some friends there and I would play sports with every chance I got. I love sports, right? Sports is one of, not my ways out, but it's one of my interests. It's one of my ultimate hobbies. I love sports, love badminton, love racket sports. And so the reason that I said to quit it before May 22nd is because that is when my 6-month lease was up. So I ended up renting from a person I actually worked with when I worked that job. And that's when my 6-month lease was up. Now, I was counting the days for this for like 3 months in advance. I dreaded that place, not necessarily that place. The people there were good, but I dreaded there so much. I don't think I've ever dreaded somewhere that much in my life. And furthermore, just the extreme cold, the darkness, everything like that. It's not depressing. I don't believe in depression. I don't believe in depression, but it was hard. Like it definitely did not set you up with positive mindsets to go forward with. And so I vowed that I was going to make enough money by May 22nd to quit and at least move back home. At the end of the day, I know I have to move out of my hometown, and truly, I do think that it'll be better in some areas of my life. Obviously, I don't want to leave my family, but getting at least to home away from that terrible, terrible environment for me, then that could set me up to obviously get financial freedom, quit my job, right, make money online and earn from anywhere. Now, did I quit my job before May 22nd? I did not. So I ended up moving back to my hometown because the position of the mill that was in town that I was talking about before did open up and I got the job, but I didn't. Now, there's a few circumstances behind this. So number one is that I ended up quitting my job and I took off like a month and a half because that was the window between when I could actually start at this job and when I could quit, and I just wanted to quit. So it was a month and a half of me having no money, but that is when I joined Wyatt and Carson's thing because I wanted to take steps forward. Now, Wyatt and Carson, not a very good course at all, right? Like they taught you the basics. It was a basic course. They don't even run their own AI agency. It's just an SMMA with just showing you how to set up a SynFlow to your Go High level. That was it, right? They were just teaching that. And I put in my heart and soul into it. Maybe not the most I could have. I'd say I was going in at like 75, 80%. I try to be at like 95% plus now. I'm not quite there yet. Even today, I think I was at like 80, 85%. But within that, that was one area. And I'm not blaming anything on external factors because I know that, I'm the captain of my own life. Every choice and decision I make is on me. But Wyatt and Carson did not have the resources available to make that money that I was wanting to make. And I didn't have the craziest discipline, and that environment I was in was terrible. Like I could not be productive for anything just solely because of the nature of it. I didn't have internet. I didn't have my computer. I didn't have a desk. I didn't have anything like that because I knew that I wasn't going to be staying there for very long. But that's how that worked. That did not happen. I'm unfortunate about that, but my values have also changed. What I've learned has changed, my insight. I know I can't just flip a switch and make 10K a month like I thought I was going to, right? Like I was listening to Wyatt and Carson about how they said you're going to make 100K a month in 6 months. Like you learn the hard way sometimes. And with these talks, I hope that I get it to you, right? What I just said, you're never, ever going to make 100K in 6 months unless you have previous experience. Maybe, just maybe the one way you could possibly do it is if you are an amazing closer, if you have so much experience, not so much experience, but you're a very good high ticket closer and you can spend $100 a day on ads. It's the only way, even with a slim chance of hope that you might achieve that. But that's that. So second one, quit job before May 22nd. Did not happen. Number 3, make Arctics for Arctic Sports. Now, a little bit of background on this. I did make a video on this on my YouTube, but I did document it on my daily series on Instagram. Where I'm from, again, I live north of the 55th parallel. There's an international competition that people only above the 55th parallel in certain places are allowed to participate in, called Arctic Winter Games. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, I recommend you looking it up. It's pretty cool. I've always been infatuated with northern culture. I've always been infatuated with just extreme desolates. Me, myself, I'm an extreme person, right? Extreme discipline, extreme measures to get me to success. This is extreme ends of the world. I've always been infatuated with this. Now, I went 2 years ago because of badminton. Like I'm saying before, right? The one thing that I hold equally as dear to me as this business, as my content, as the video that you're watching right now, right? This video that I'm making for you to watch, is sports, specifically badminton. Now, I'm gifted at badminton, but at the same time, I've also put in a lot of work. Like my high school, at least my last 2 years of high school were dedicated to badminton. Literally nothing else. I even took a break from the business to dedicate on badminton. That is how much this is important to me. And I dedicated so much of my time to this. Plus, there's not many opportunities where I'm from. Plus, being able to live out a competition that I've been infatuated, not the competition itself, but that embodied the ideas that I've been infatuated with ever since I was a kid. Grade 6, I remember we did an About Us. And one of the questions was, where do you want to move when you're older? I said up north because I was infatuated with the north. Now, my values have changed. You can't compare who you were, 8 years ago to who you are now. But regardless, I was so bent on doing that. There's been very few times in my life where I've truly entered like a flow state. I've truly had a goal and been so convinced that I was going to achieve it, that it happened. That was one of them, right? The person that I beat to make that competition, I should not have beat him as bad as I did, right? He was on paper better than me. He got, 2 places higher at the competition we were at last year than I was, and that's provincially too. And I ended up beating him. He barely got double digits on me. If you guys aren't familiar with badminton, it goes to 21. He got 11 points on me. That should not have happened, but I was so committed. So I can't even explain it, but I just knew it was going to happen. And then the competition itself was, I will never forget that week in my life. There's experiences in my life that have meant so much to me. That one is top 2, right? Top 1. I don't even know if there's anything better than that week I did. And I wanted to go again. I was too old for badminton, but one of the ones I could have gone for was Arctic Sports. And so I made it my goal to practice as much as possible to go to Arctic Sports, right? To go for Arctic Sports. It's like a whole bunch of kicking events. Again, I recommend you guys search it up. But I did end up doing that, right? That was, boom, check mark. That was 2 weeks ago. No, last weekend. Yeah, it was last weekend on the Saturday. Or 2 weekends ago. I forget when. But I ended up doing it, right? I did good. I could have definitely practiced more. And I do think I got a little bit lucky with the amount of competition that I had there. But regardless, I made it. And that was going to be extreme goal for me. The only goal that I held at the same level of my business standards to was that goal right there. So I made that. First one, had make 10K a month. Don't know yet. Second one, quit job for May 22nd. Did not achieve. Third one, make Arctics for Arctic Sports. I did achieve. Now, the fourth one is no skinny neck, fit physique. Now, I don't think I've achieved this to the extent that I want to. I have had a lot of struggle with prioritizing working out and exercising, not necessarily exercising, but working out. I play 4 hours of hard badminton a week, which I know is pretty good for exercise, but there's not much on the muscle side. Now, I really want to have a good physique, and I'll never forget this. Andrew Tate said this. He said, your body is a resume. If you walk into a room and, let's say you're 300 pounds, what are you immediately going to think of that person? And, a book I'm reading, it's about your subconscious. Your brain makes conclusions as much as possible to preserve that conscious energy. 90% of it is subconscious, only 10% is conscious, right? That 10%, when people say we only use 10% of our brain, that's where that myth comes from. Not necessarily myth, but so your first impressions are going to be the first thing that you're going to judge someone with. if you see someone, 300-pound person walking into a room, what are you going to think of them? I know for me, myself, and this might not be true at all, but for me, myself, I'm going to think these people are lazy. These people don't respect their health. These people don't respect good habits. They don't have discipline, all of this, right? Now, I obviously have bias, but that's the thing. And what Andrew Tate was going for there is, within the speech, or not the speech, the talk that he was giving, there are high achievers in there, right? You're not going to have your liberal, left-wing, blue-haired people who want to be teachers going to be watching that. You're going to have the entrepreneurs like yourself. You're going to have the entrepreneurs like me who want to achieve something great in life. And so if you're walking into a room with a bunch of killer entrepreneurs and you're 350 pounds, do you think they're going to respect you more or less than if you were 180 pounds lean, you had good muscle, you were, agile, athletic, all of this? Who do you think is going to gain more respect? Right? Obviously the person who's with a fit physique. Now, my skinny neck, I've always had a skinny neck. This has been one of my insecurities. Now, I say insecurity, my definition of insecurity and your definition can be very different. But, in high school, I was made fun of it. And, it didn't bug me because I knew at the end of the day, I could change it, right? It's not like you have a messed up face. I mean, you can change it to some extent, but skinny neck, you can exercise and you can do it. I haven't exercised my neck as much as I would like to. So I would say no on that side. But as for fit physique, not to the extent that I wanted it to, but I definitely am a very fit, semi-muscular guy. No, I laugh because, we all have biases, positive biases towards ourselves, right? That's a survival mechanism. But I do know that I'm not a skinny log. I do know that I do have some muscle on me now. Again, not nearly as much as I would like to. But for that, I would say I haven't achieved it yet, which kind of sucks. But that's just things that I have to work on, right? Like the gym, a big issue with me recently is that I didn't feel like going to the gym and sacrificing my time from my business, right? Very limited time right now, 60 hours a week I'm working. I didn't feel like that was the best time spent, which isn't true, right? An example that my mentor gave me, if you had two people on a racetrack, Lewis Hamilton in a Kia Soul or a granny in a Ferrari, who do you think is going to win, right? Probably going to be Lewis Hamilton, not because of the vehicle he drives, but just because of who he is. And that's the idea behind that, right? Like that's the idea of just becoming that best person possible. And then it's going to carry over into business kind of thing. But I did not achieve that one to the extent I would have liked to. Now, my fifth one here is following on my personal brand. Now, following on my personal brand, in this paper, I said 10,000 followers. Now, I haven't achieved that, and there's still a chance that I might, but I don't believe I am, just with the ways that I'm posting and with the rate. I'm still posting, daily, sometimes 2 times a day, but with the way that I'm posting, I'm not going to get viral. It's a more slow, trusted growth. You watching this right now, this video is way more intimate. This isn't a video where I'm just trying to go viral. This isn't, how long is your pinky? And then there's 5 different emojis on the screen. I'm sure you've seen that video. You've seen those videos before. But I have gained a following on my personal brand, right? I have, as I'm making this video, 320, 330 subscribers on this YouTube channel. I have almost 600 on my business channel about AI. On my Instagram, I have, almost 300 followers. On my TikTok, I have 300 followers. And yeah, that's pretty much that, across all that, 1.5 thousand, 2,000. But I do have a following on my personal brand to the extent where I have built something of a trusted asset with myself as the face of it. As I'm recording this, right, by the way, if you guys are interested in it, if you guys are, found my channel through my AI agency videos, free AI agency Discord, link in the description below, completely for free. Me and my boy give crazy sauce in there, nothing paid for, nothing in there. We might shift to something like that down the road when literally we, our time, when the community gets way too big to, keep everything as it's going right now. But as of right now, completely for free. Me and my boy will answer any questions. Just join that. But even on that, we gained, 8 members today. and it's at like 210 members. Even that's a reflection of my personal brand, right? That shows that people are following me. In these past 2 months, I've really been dialing down my videos on YouTube that are going viral. Within that, I've gotten a lot of people saying like, not even just, hey man, like good job, but like, dude, I'm so glad you made that video. Like just giving a trusted response, right? At the end of the day, a Wyatt Roderick and a Carson Reed, they don't have people DMing them on Instagram saying, hey bro, I love your content, keep it up. You inspired me to do better. You're helping me start this. You're giving me the best advice I've heard all day, kind of thing. And that is, a result of building that positive personal brand. And so for that aspect, I do believe that I have achieved that so far. Now, that's a spectrum. You're never going to build a following. It's always going to be, you're going to build more and more and more and more. And I believe that I have built that following. So, and by the way, some of these I'm just going through right now. I know I was really excited that I made Arctic, so I came home and I checked that off. So that is that. I've achieved that. Now, my last goal here for my 1 year goal is to have a good mentor. Now, March 1st, right at the start of when I bought Wyatt and Carson's course, I thought I achieved that. I thought that I got good mentors, a 17-year-old curly-haired kid and a 19-year-old curly-haired kid. What could go wrong, right? In this world of marketing Hallapalooza online, what could go wrong, right? But I mean, again, you live, you learn, right? As I'm making these videos, I hope that, a lot of my AI agency videos, people come from them. I hope that I get this message to you, right? Because I don't want you to spend, I spent $5,000 on that. I don't want you guys to spend $5,000 for that, So going to that, I thought I had found my good mentor with Wyatt and Roderick. Now, they were mentors. Like, again, at the end of the day, and, what I got, it's not like they were scamming. They just didn't give the value that they said that they did. Furthermore, they made promises that they knew weren't true. But I mean, that's what not all marketers, but that's what the marketers who don't have morals do, right? And there's a lot of them out there. So that was that. That did not materialize like I thought it was. The salesperson in their program, and I talked about this on my other videos, he was a killer. And I'm like, this guy, if I could have got mentored by him every single day, that would have been a very good step forward for me. This guy was a very good mentor, but he wasn't, in the course as Wyatt and Carson had ran it. So I didn't get that. And then furthermore, he left after I think 3 months that he was in there, which is too bad. But so my first stint from, March to September, I did not have a good mentor. Now, this was a very big goal for me. And to some extent, you can get mentored from books, from podcasts, from videos. And that's not just my opinion on it. Great thinkers. Tai Lopez, I listen to Tai Lopez a lot. Very good practical advice. I know a lot of you know him as just a marketer, but this guy has done a lot, right? Like this guy has done a lot of things, right? And with him, he says, books can be mentors. To that extent, Tai Lopez could have been a mentor to me. A lot of the principles and guidelines that I follow now are based off of him. But when I set that goal, it was more of having someone in person directly, not necessarily in person, but having someone related to what I'm doing. And as of, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, like I said, I think I said at the beginning of this video, but spent $7,500 on a 3-month mentorship. These guys are good mentors so far. And I do think that they are going to be good mentors moving forward. But I would say that I have achieved that. Even not just with my 2 mentors that I have right now. They are giving some really good sauce. Like, very, very good. And, one thing with mentors too, as Tai Lopez says, when you pick a mentor, you have to listen to everything they say. Now, that may sound counterproductive, but at the end of the day, if your mentor, and mentors are never going to be 100% right. If your mentor is doing 9 things out of 10 you agree with and 1 out of 10 you don't, who are you to question the thing that you don't agree with, right? Because they're the people who have more experience than you. You can't not follow what they're doing just because you don't agree with it, because what do you know, right? And that's why you get that mentorship, get their experience and do that. So you have to listen to everything that your mentor says. And I forgot where I was going with that. But even without the two people there, Tai Lopez has been a very good mentor to me. And at the end of the day, as I continue to progress, I do want a real mentorship with him. Like I do want a one-on-one, not a one-on-one. I know that won't happen, but like an inner circle kind of thing where I have access to him. That is one of my ultimate goals. Actually, that's a goal I haven't written down that I should write down. It comes across my head quite often. But that is, one goal that I have, and I do believe that I have achieved. 2026, my definition of a good mentor, I believe, is going to be something way different in a positive way, of course. But all in all, I think that I have achieved that. So as a conclusion to this, right, my 5 goals here, I have 5 main goals. Number 1, have a 10K month before the first day of 2026. If I'm going to achieve it, I'm going to achieve it this month. I'm already a fifth of the way there. And I do truly believe that I am going to achieve it. So that one, haven't achieved yet, but I am confident that I can. Number 2, quit my job before May 22nd. I didn't. It just didn't materialize. Not going to blame anyone for it. It just didn't work out, right? I didn't have the insight I do now. I just didn't have the insight I do now. And it didn't happen. It was an unrealistic time frame. But yeah, moving forward, I have, again, more realistic expectations on that. Number 3, make Arctics for Arctic Sports. I did. So happy that I did. One of my, best achievements of the year, honestly. Again, the only thing that holds par to my business, to my entrepreneurial journeys, to me making these videos for you is my sports, right? Is my badminton, and Arctics is like a whole realm of those sports. One of the top things. Again, one of probably the best experience of my life so far. And very, very important goal for me, and very, very glad that I achieved that. Number 4, no skinny neck, fit physique. I don't think I achieved that to the extent that I wanted to, but it's going to be something moving forward, right? And I haven't actually looked at these for a while, and I probably should, right? I probably should make a habit of checking this every single week, but I don't think I achieved it to the extent I did. Number 5, following on my personal brand. I did achieve this. Now, I did, and I would say that I achieved it to the extent that was a healthy and that was a realistic time frame that I wanted to. So I did achieve following on the personal brand. And then my last goal here is have a good mentor. With my 2 mentors right now mentoring me with the agency, plus, Tai Lopez, learning all of this stuff from him, his podcast, his books, all of that. And by the way, all of these books, well, most of these books, I'll turn my camera. All of these books right here, and some of these books here, all Tai Lopez, by the way. Like Tai Lopez recommends these books. Now, I could talk about books and selection on books for a while, but main idea is that, nowadays you get books that are marketed well, not necessarily books that hold true value. There's a decent amount of books in there. This one right here, I think it's called Art of Discipline or something. I would not have bought that book if I knew what it was. Now, there was good, advice in there, but very, very surface level stuff that I haven't heard, even just like in an Instagram video, like some of these videos, expert secrets, you learn in depth on, some very good stuff. In depth, right? And that's what makes a good book. It's in depth on it, and it provides, the perspective and value that has been tested throughout time. This set of books right here, I'm not going to show my camera again, but Will Durant, Entire Story of Civilization. Our civilization, what brought me to you right now, is in that series of books. That was tested throughout time. That's a classic. Biographies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you don't know the brief timeline of his story, incredible story, right? Immigrated to the United States, movie star, governor, real estate mogul, everything like that, right? And it's truly an incredible story. But as for my last goal, have a good mentor, I do believe that I have achieved that. And moving forward, obviously you're going to have mentors to propel you to where you want to be. And I'm going to keep on doing that. So that is my goals for the 1 year. I also want to make a video going over my goals for 2026, right? Just like a message to me for 2026. But that's that, right? I achieved, 4 of 6. One of them, it was an unrealistic time frame. What I know now, I wouldn't have set that goal. If I did, it would have been more of like a motivator just to try to get that time frame, but realistically achieve it in a longer time frame. And then the one that I actually didn't do, which there's no excuse to why I couldn't, is having a fit physique and no skinny neck. But that's obviously going to be a goal I'm going to focus on moving forward. And then that 10K a month, obviously, huge for me, right? Probably one of the cornerstones on every decision I make in life right now. But that's that. 30 minutes. I don't know if any of you are going to watch this video or going to watch how long this video is. But if you guys do, thank you for watching. Like, I really appreciate it. I hope that you got value out of this. At the end of the day, you watching this video, I hope that you don't, necessarily just take interest in myself. I hope that me and my journey gives you perspective, gives you concepts, gives you ideas of success that you can employ into your own life. Right? At the end of the day, you're there for you. And I want to help you do that. There's very few people who are unselfishly genuine. And I can't put myself on a pedestal and say that, but it goes even back to morals. If you are genuine all the time, your success is just going to attract to you. Like if you could say in a sense that I'm not genuine just because I want to be genuine, because I want success, it's extremely crude. But like me being genuine, I want to be genuine, right? I follow the morals, the principles of the Bible. Within that, as well, like success is just going to come to you. I believe those positive connotations come from those good morals kind of thing. So that's that. Again, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you gained insight. Maybe, I inspired you for your guys' 2026 goals as well. But all in all, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Follow me for more. Instagram for more daily updates on my AI agency. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Above all, stay wise.